Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi to my ma's house later on? Do you, love? Welcome back, everybody, to the WoodsTalk podcast, episode 50 something, because I've lost track because I do so many podcasts now. I'm read out. I am read out in terms of podcasting, as they would say in the Tyrone area. Podcasting. The big man there's got a podcast. You know, he's got into the habit of just speaking to himself in a room, which, if that had been a thing in my day, you'd have been fucking sent to the workhouse, famine or no famine. You'd be fucking sitting there, abandon all hope, all ye who enter here. That's what they would say. In the door above the workhouse, it'd be fucking nailed in with a machete into a big chunk of wood, and that's what you would do, talking to yourself in a room. You know, abandon all hope, all ye who enter here. I think that's now what they have above Primark in Belfast, and that's nothing to do with the fair, that's nothing to do with the flames, you know, burn baby burn. That's just a day where it must be tough work. Any retail is tough, but working in Primark, I'd rather just stick flip-flops in my eyes. And where would I get the flip-flops? Primark, full circle. Know what I'm saying? Welcome back, peeps, to another clan meeting with myself, the big man himself, everyone's 23rd favourite comedian, hosting your 45th favourite podcast by a Northern Irish comedian, here on the YouTube, on the Spotify, on the Apple Podcasts, on the SoundCloud, on the flip side. Here we are, yet again. What a week it has been. I say that nearly every episode. And most of the time I've done fuck all, because Woodsy's not partial to pastimes. Don't chat to me about pastimes. Pastimes are a thing you do when you're a child. They're in the past. They're past times, hence the name Pastimes. You know, people always let on that they have to find new things to do, but you have to bear in mind your age. You know, is it alright as someone in the late 30s going rollerblading? You don't want to see someone who's 44 trading Pokemon cards. Have you got Charizard, mate? Have you got Charizard? Because I tell you, I've been after Charizard this fucking long time. I'll swap you a Squirtle, a Magikarp, Pikachu, and a fucking alpaca. Yeah, that's not a Pokemon, but you know what? It's a Google image of an alpaca. I've got a lot of money. You know what I mean? These things fucking dear. You know, you don't want to see a 53-year-old, nothing worse. People too old trying to recapture their youth. It's done. I think Patrice O'Neill hit on that very famously in his Elephant in the Room stand-up special. You have to just appreciate your age, you know. You do get to a point where the things you do when you're young, when you're in your mid-20s, it's just weird if you carry it on. Do I want to be a 62-year-old going to Limelight on a Saturday going, cut my life into pieces, this is my last resort? Give me oxygen tank there, Lisa, would you? Oh fuck, it's rolling. They're playing Limp Bizkit, man. Speaking of biscuit, by the way, you're supposed to get bourbon creams in the big shop. You didn't fucking buy your whole. Mobility's good around that. You know, you should be getting it. Fucking custard creams. So anyway, yeah, it's I'm not fond of doing stuff. This has been a week where things have occurred, and not so much in my control, which was sort of the frustrating part. But let's get into this straight away. Start off on a somber note. R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman. Wakanda forever, mate. Colon cancer, 43 years old. Chadwick Boseman, most famous for playing T'Challa, aka the King of Wakanda, aka Black Panther. You know, Wakanda's obviously the secret country. Well, it's not even a secret country. It's a secretly thriving country, you know, in the early days of the Marvel films. To the outside world, seemed like a third world country, where in fact it was not, you know. You only knew how to get there if you were from there. You know, I don't remember any Marvel films, seeing someone in the background at a bus station going, "Give us a single to Wakanda. Give us a day ticket even, because I'll be back later on. Looking to go to fucking Timbuktu and the afterlife after, aka Newton Stewart." So, yeah, R.I.P. Colon cancer. Didn't tell fucking anybody. I assume his inner circle were up to speed, but for a man who was very frequently in the public eye, didn't let on fuck all. God bless him. R.I.P. You know, he's a good actor. I'll be honest. Have I seen anything outside of his Marvel projects? No. I don't believe so. But, you know, for a man that had fame quite late, you know, in terms of age, I don't know how long he was acting, but apparently he did a lot of good stuff. I think he played James Brown in a film. Get on up, maybe? It might be called something like that. You know, doing some cool shit while suffering. Apparently he was diagnosed, you know, around the time that Black Panther had come out. So by that point he'd been in Captain America Civil War, you know, his big break. You know, I think he was relatively unknown when he was cast in the role, and bearing in mind Black Panther was something that was always rumoured to have, you know, eventually get made. Even back in the day, I think, wasn't it Wesley Snipes? Wesley Snipes was interested in making Black Panther, and I don't know if he did Blade instead or if he wanted to do both or how that worked out. But Black Panther's been something that's been touted for a while, and obviously he was introduced in Captain America Civil War, and Chadwick Boseman was cast. It got a positive reception upon casting, but I don't think he was particularly famous. Then just ended up being the perfect guy for the part, which I think is, thinking of the Marvel universe as a whole, you know, they've done so much good casting, you know, that if they were ever to lose said cast member, whether it is illness or they want to do other work, you know, they can't really recast it. You know, you look at someone like, you know, Chris Evans as Captain America. I mean, they passed the mantle on to Falcon. He's now the new Captain America. I don't think they'd ever do another film with a new Steve Rogers. You know, I don't think they could ever have a new Tony Stark. You know what I mean? And again, Chadwick Boseman's just another example of just diamond casting, you know, for that character, which I knew nothing about, and you just knew watching him in Civil War, and then obviously Black Panther came out, which obviously aesthetically, socially, in terms of pop culture, made such an impact. You know, apart from Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman, you know, Bilbo and fucking Gollum themselves, predominantly black cast, and they're all amazing, you know what I mean? And whilst all this was happening, which was a big deal, and apparently it's something that was very important to Chadwick as a dude, you know, for all it to be happening while him having that to deal with at the same time, and for him to say nothing when he was on a public platform where he could have, you know, he could have said something, but obviously it was very private, suffered in silence, and bar the inner circle and close friends and family, you know, said nothing, you know, pure old school dignity, you know, that old school fucking vibe that you don't really see a lot. Not that I'm disagreeing with someone who maybe is famous that is suffering. If you feel it's someone you'd want to put in your social media platforms to raise awareness, absolutely, but you have to understand that's not for everybody. You know, some people would rather just keep it private, you know. There's not, I mean, it must be very hard to be that level of fame and maintain a private life. It must be very, very difficult, you know, to go about your day, particularly if you've got kids and stuff. You want to take them to the park or even just to the cinema. I mean, what do you do? But your R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. It's very sad, very, very sad. But what can you do? I suppose it's you know, just, yeah. Again, I sort of sound like I'm sort of trivializing it there, if I can get the fucking word right. But I know, very, very sad. The response was unbelievable. You know, like it would seem just anybody who ever met him was severely touched by just his general demeanour, his whole vibe, his whole output, his, you know, his eloquence or whatever. So just one of those ones. Like I remember, like, I woke up, would have been Saturday morning maybe, and Lisa was like, "What the fuck? Chadwick Boseman's dead." And I was like, "Oh Jesus," you know. just that classic sort of response. Like, sure, I didn't even know anything was wrong with him. You know what I mean? People particularly here always say that. Do you hear about Desmond? Desmond died the other day. I didn't even know there was anything wrong with him. Why the fuck would he tell you? Unless you're late, why the fuck would he tell you if he had fucking gout? You know what I mean? So weird times, man. Weird times. So that was Saturday. I didn't have the best week last week. So basically what happened in terms of my timetable last week, it's only now I can laugh about this. Jesus Christ. So about 8 months ago in the flat, sound like this is going to be very like a very serious family thing. You know, everything's all right in terms of the fams, kind of. I'm not getting into too much, but fuck me. So about 7 or 8 months ago last year, I was walking through my hallway of my flat into the living room in my sacks, right? And before I crack on, actually, I was just thinking, I wish I was a person that could like get cozy around the house. Do you know what I mean? Like, not to be like too fucking dicky about it, but you know the way you get people that are like, as soon as I get in from the work or whatever I'm doing, they're getting in the trackies, they're getting in their shorts, no socks are on or off. You know, they're getting in comfy shit, they're getting on a onesie, dressing gown, house robe, kimono, it's all that there. You know, I wish I was more hold to do that. I just sort of will chill like this, t-shirt and jeans, till I have to go to bed, man. You know, I wish I was more to be like, here, I'm cozy as fuck, man. You know, I'm having a bath, getting my papaya, estrogen and guacamole fucking bath bombs and listening to Doves. Catch the sun before it comes, here it comes, this broken gun. Sound like Mr. Bean in the opera there. Mr. Bean singing, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a big talker, but I'd say Mr. Bean could belt out a tune. A whole new world, a whole new place must be. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, 8 months ago or so, walking around the flat, walk from the hall into my living room, feel dampness in my feet region. That wasn't anything to do with being generally aroused. You know what I mean? Just going, was down and about, felt a bit damp in the old dicular valley, you know, the V-shaped valley. And here's the thing, fucking the old fucking ball quarry, and and that was me. I had to go fucking buck a hole on the couch. You know what I mean? Put a bit of beetroot in it just to simulate the feeling when you're bucking on the ceiling. Felt a bit of dampness. Turns out there was water coming from underneath the floorboards. You step on the fucking floorboard like I got a guitar pedal and just water was coming out, man. Wasn't too bad, but it was enough to kind of damage the floorboards and stuff. Not permanently, just a wee bit. So our landlords basically came out and was like, you need your shower tray sealed. Did that. Job done, right? Last week, early-ish, what day would have been? It would have been Tuesday. And I'll tell you how I remember that. I knew it was Tuesday because that was the day I was booked in with Paddy McDonnell to do an episode of the Extra Branch series for this podcast, which you can get on the Patreon, www.patreon.com/WoodsTalk. You know, so I had the mighty Paddy McDonnell on. Prior to that, it was about 4 o'clock and it happened again, and it came back with a vengeance. The damp floorboards, Jesus Christ, it was like more so in the hall, more so in the kitchen. Like it clearly had spread from the sort of small perimeter that there was last time. Like last time you easily could have walked around it, you know, it still would have been a tad tight. You sort of have to like shuffle up against the wall, and like a very scared straight man when he first went to a gay bar. Stay against the wall sort of thing, job done. This was like, you know, like the last time you would have to sort of maybe squint away to even notice that there was water. Most of the time, if you hadn't said anything, people would only realise when they stood in it and they noticed that their feet were damp. You know what I mean? That the old socks were letting in. You know what I'm saying? Those shoes are letting in, for fuck's sake. So this time it just came back with a vengeance. Now again, I don't know anything about house maintenance, so I don't know if a couple of months ago the sealing of the shower tray was just a short-term fucking thing that ultimately just lets it sort of chill for a couple of months, but it will come back. I don't know. But it came back with a vengeance. So it was quite bad. I rung our landlord, let them know, and they're like, "We'll try and get someone out." But obviously, not that there's a good time for shit like that to happen in your rented property. But obviously, as you know, last Tuesday, even though it was a few days ago, they were like, "Well, we'll try and get someone out to fix this." But it's the bank holiday coming up this Monday, so it seems like the bank holiday is just a cure for everybody to not be able to do anything. You know what I mean? Even though it's a bank holiday, because obviously the banks need the break. The bank tellers, the people who tell you that you've been charged for going into your overdraft that you don't have, they need a break because they only work 9 to 4 and they only get an hour for their lunch and 2 15-minute breaks. Fuck's sake, they need a break, man. Even the Chilean miners are like, "Oh, bank holiday, absolutely." There's my wee phone. That's my wee sister. Hiya. So, the bank holidays are bullshit. By the way, I know like most of the time you benefit because like, I got a long weekend. No, ladies who lunch, ladies who suck, ladies who fucking munch the bag. I need and have a poached egg. That's not only fucking egg white that Would you're a rude her. You know what I mean? Thank God you're good looking, because you wouldn't be a well spoken cunt now, like myself. So yeah, bank holidays are bullshit, man. The bank tellers are fucking knackered, so they need to recharge the batteries, recharge the fucking inner Duracells of the fucking intestinal body there, and just let them get the snooze in, let them have a lock of days at the Galgorm, because they have it flat out. I mean, sitting all day in a nice warm comfy office behind a glass screen, even pre-COVID, they were behind the glass screen. Them cunts aren't getting COVID, and getting to tell people, "Yeah, we charged you because you're a fucking hairbag. You took out a credit card with New Look and you bought $2,000 worth of fucking plimsolls and you haven't been afforded to make the repayments. So now your credit's fucked. You couldn't even get a loan of a fucking rubber duck on finance. That's 30p a month because you're a trout. You're never getting a mortgage. You're not getting a fucking phone contract. You may start saving or, start hooking. Start fucking bucking, people on the street. Get outside Thompson's. Get on all fours and hopefully feel some, sensation in the back area. And hopefully you lay out a wee hat like a busker. And hopefully you make a few quid. You play a lot of tunes on the dude. You know what I mean? You play fucking Sandstorm on my man flit. And we're... when you're going to go really deep on the bass, you just grab that bag, grab the ballocks. Sorry, but I'm not. So yeah, the bank holiday seemed to be a thing around the landlord, and it was nobody's fault but the people that are landlords. It was obviously just whoever's working in the office. We temp admin job, while the fella, doing medicine at Queen's. So yes, and I just... I pay for the Netflix and he pays the rent. God bless. So harsh today. But, it's only now I'm in good form again. So, Jesus Christ. So, anyway, flood came back and it was bad. So, I was like, look, I'm going to ring the peeps. And they said, look, with a bank holiday, we might be able to get someone out, but it could be next week. And we just don't know. I'll chase them up. I will chase them up. You're not chasing anybody from the comfort of your fucking recliner in your office. No offense, but I'll chase them up, which basically means you're going to phone them. And like these days, if you have to phone someone, which is rare, remember that, man, ringing people. Do you know what I mean? You don't ring people anymore. I guarantee if you find out that a family member's in hospital or God forbid dead, you're getting a Snapchat. You know what I mean? Just like, there's Dorothy, she's blue, hashtag raging, hashtag Waycam sandwiches. So, where was it? So, yes, I'll chase them up. So there was so much sort of vague shit about that. So I was like, hopefully this gets sorted soon. So it was that thing that we were like mopping the floor. But again, where it was in the flat, you couldn't help but walk. You know what I mean? And this time you didn't have the option of going around it. It was everywhere. You had to just go in and out. That was like it was like the most concentrated walkway of the way our flat set up. You couldn't go for a pee, or indeed go to your bed at all without passing that particular area. So it's like bullshit, man. Anyway, so me and Lisa have some dinner, and we're like, this is fucking mad, and we were mopping away, but again, every time you stood in the thing, the water came back, and because this is a flat building, you know, we didn't know if there was anything in our flat that could turn off the water. We had a quick Jeffrey, and we couldn't see fuck all. So I was like, this is probably like a communal thing, or it's definitely something beyond our fucking area of expertise, you know what I mean, considering, you know, we don't even own an Allen key between us. So I said, Lisa, look, hopefully, you know, they'll give us a ring tomorrow. But we were obviously very much not expecting that. We were like, nah, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Because I actually think I'm too dead on sometimes. Like, I wish, you know, when it comes to that, I was a wee bit more of a dick. I think like, you know, once like social things are coming back with no regularity, you know what I mean, that I need to be a bit more of a fucking dickhead, man. I'm far too gullible and dead on for my own good. Do you know what I mean? I'm far too dead on. No, I'm not going to be like pure like no drop kicking pensioners and stuff like that there in Tesco, but even though like I do think about that, you know, very entitled people. Pensioners, you're just like, you live through the plague, but you know what, dead on. But I live through Jedward, so eat a hole. You're dead on now, as we talked about last week. You know, so I was, you know, I'm confused about where my life's at. I spent so long disliking Jedward, and now they're dead on. What happens next? Am I going to like Piers Morgan at some point? No. Definitely not. Not that fucking Herbig, because he is the type that I would like to just American History X that cunt. You know what I mean? Bite the carb there, Piers, and I'll just fucking... Anyway. So, me and Lisa were kind of raging, frustrated, because we had obviously contacted the landlord, but there didn't seem to be any urgency, you know, in terms of what was happening. And I was like, look, it would help if you could get someone here now. I think that, like, there's a lot of... That situation could have been resolved if I was a cunt, but I just don't have it in me. Like, I probably come across pure cunty on this podcast sometimes, but, you know, I think that's why I'm not cunty in general, because doing episodes of WoodsTalk, that's where the cuntiness comes out. You know, this is my cuntiness. This is my AA meeting. This is my CUNT meeting, and this is where I go, I hate pensioners, I hate slow people. I don't really, you know, not enough to act on it anyway, yet. So mainly, so like we had a bit of dinner and we're just fucking frustrated, because I was like, this could be, you know, and I won't name the landlords or anything, but, you know, any previous time we've had an issue, you know, which has all been very trivial, minimal stuff, it's taken ages to get it sorted. You know what I mean? Like, I remember like 2 years ago we had to sort the extractor fan for the bathroom. It just like ran out of fucking, the motor ran out, or whatever the fucking terminology is. Man, that took about 8 weeks. Because they actually rang me at one point and they were like, yes, would you actually be home between 9:30 and 9:38 next Tuesday morning? And I was like, I'm actually not, because I'm working and I can't really get there, but you're more than welcome, whilst I'm away, whilst Lisa's at her work, more than welcome to shoot on into the flat and fix it when we're not there. That is not a problemo. You know, not going to be thrown about that. And they were like, well, we actually don't have, we have a key to the flats, but we don't have a key to the building itself. And I was like, there's your flat, man. Like, you have a key to the flat itself, but not the building that the flat is contained in. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Unless I go, I've got a key to the boot of the car, but I couldn't like start the car. I don't have keys for the car itself, but I can get the boot open if you're looking at a spare tire, or indeed that fucking gazebo that you're looking, because there's a bit of good weather this weekend. You're looking at barbecue, bro, disposable. So we're fucked off essentially. Any other trivial thing, as I say, that we've ever tried to get started, it would take fucking ages, and it felt like, you know, you were trying to get custody of a child, and you're like, man, I just need the new fan for the bathroom. It's not, you know, we just need it because we have a window in the bathroom, yes, but I like having an extractor fan because it's a small bathroom, and when you have a shower, you know, I like as much steam to get out of there as possible because it reduces the prospect of damp. People say moist, is the worst, one of the worst worsened actually. Damp's worse. Damp's far worse because damp obviously has a lot more connotations. No one's going to go, there's moisture in your walls. You'd be like, what is what? Moisture? But someone goes, you've got damp coming in. People are like, oh fuck, get the sugar soap. I tell you what, I'm bleaching everywhere. Just wrap me in cling film, cover me in bleach, and I'm just going to roll about like a fucking sausage roll in the wind. You know what I mean? Nothing worse than damp, from previous student properties. It goes everywhere, man. Done it, like fucking immigrants. I'm joking. So, yeah, we were pissed off, man. So I said, Lisa, look, I have to get my dinner here, and then I've got Paddy McDonnell booked for a Zoom call for the Extra Branch podcast, which, side note, are, not to blow my own trumpet, very fucking good. You know what I mean? It's a whole different dynamic to the solo podcast, which is what I like about it. Love doing the solo podcast because it's easy, and I can just get set up quite quickly, and I don't really have to I can churn it out as quickly as I need to. Whereas in terms of the Extra Branch, I don't really set a limit, in terms of how I'm able to keep this 40 minutes. Some of the Extra Branch episodes are near 2 hours, and there's ones that are just over an hour. And again, they're fucking brilliant episodes, so I'm enjoying doing them and keeping them up. I'm recording, a couple of weeks ahead of time, so the Patreon is on schedule. All this Patreon stuff is scheduled well ahead of time. Don't you worry about it. The big man cares. And so I was like, I've got to do this thing with Paddy McDonnell. Got in, did the thing with Paddy, had a great time. That's the time this comes out. The next Extra Branch episode is Paddy McDonnell, as I said to the Patreon people. But for you general listeners, if you want to get involved in the Patreon, the master of mirth, the man with more stories than the fucking Bible, Paddy McDonnell, was very kind to come on and do the podcast, and he explained a lot of good shit. You know what I mean? If you had seen the video of Paddy chucking a guy and choking him outside Spar when he was doing security, I'll tell you what, if you want to hear about that story from his perspective, which is the one, the horse's mouth, sir, some great stuff. So I did the episode with Paddy, and we had a great fucking time, and I said bye-bye, got everything shut down in here, and then I came out, and the whole thing was worse. And Lisa, God bless her, Lisa obviously knows that this podcast is a very important thing to me, and I really enjoy doing it. So Lisa doesn't even go for a pee, when in general when I'm recording these, because she's worried that it'll pick up the flush, or dare I say it, some words. I don't know, fucking, you have a fucking Vindaloo and a fucking Chinese 2 days in a row. It doesn't matter who you are. You'll shit for the eye of a fucking cistern. And yeah, so she didn't. Fair fucks, the place is, 3 times more flooded than what it was. She didn't actually go, I thought I'd interrupt Rory in its podcast. You know what I mean? Hopefully I don't record ever an episode of the solo podcast, or indeed the Extra Branch, and come out and be like, Lisa will come out, Rory, I'm so sorry, but we were actually robbed there when you were doing that episode. Do you know what I mean? They took the microwave, the air fryer, and your fucking... Didn't take your vinyl player, obviously, because that's the important part of your podcast video setup. But yes, they took all our chargers, your PS4, as the way, your tablet, which I call Pablo Tabaleta, i.e. Pablo Zabaleta, he used to play for Man City and West Ham. So still that, so I'm really sorry to say, Rory, I'm very sorry, but I bucked 9 lads when you're 9, Jesus, all a blazing squad, what the fuck. So I came out, and poor Lisa standing there, like in those cheesy American films where there's always one girl at the orphanage who gets it really tight, and basically treated like Cinderella doing all the housework. Poor Lisa standing there like a mop bucket. It got so much worse, man. The floors and all were fucking really damaged. The floorboards were sponge and all, wet, a wet cake. You know what I mean? Jesus. A damp cake, dare I say it? Fuck me, purple. So I was just bollocks. And we're trying to get that sorted. We had to ring an emergency plumber, who we only basically found because of the hall of our building. The people who own it have an emergency contact. Managed to get him out, and he was just yeah, this is bad. And we were like, yes, we know, because we rang you. This was 10:30 at night, by the way. We had to ring this cunt. So fair play, he came out and he was like, all right, well, there's a communal, like, is it a stopcock, I think it's called. I heard the word cock in the conversation either way, whatever he was offering, I was going for it. You know, if it fixed the floors, I'll take a fucking shot of fucking, you know, the scrotal protein shake in the back of the cob if I could fix that. But to be fair, like, he went and turned it off and got it sorted for us. But again, it doesn't fix the damage. But Jesus Christ. So then, whilst all this was happening, we didn't realise we were so busy in the hall area and getting all that shit fixed. Lisa was like, "There's something else," and I was like, "I was on doing the podcast, and as we've already established, this could be anything." Lisa could be like, "I'm pregnant," or "I want a divorce," or, you know, like Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman, or, you know, someone, all that shit. She was like, "There's another leak as well," and I was like, "Okay," in our bathroom, right? Which, yeah, again, needs a new fan. Needs a new fan, right? Basically, just above the new fan to the left, there's just a big crack in the ceiling, and it's leaking out of the ceiling as well. So we had to like get a wee basin. So basically, I went to the flat above ours, see if there's any content, which there wasn't. I tried like 6 times. So I'm trying to, I still don't actually know now if there's any who are up there, if they're on holidays and they've left something on. But apparently, like, there is a leak coming from there as well. So I don't know if it's all one big thing or 2 separate wee fucking dicky things that's all culminated into me basically, you know, doing like a round from total wipeout in my own flat just to go and fucking have a slash, right? You know, like with the rain we had this week, I went out there just to fucking be dry. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, do I need to get wellies for my own flat here? You know what I mean? Is this like Indiana Jones and the flooded apartment? What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? I would wonder if I would ever have Lisa's dad's attitude to wellies. I don't know if I've ever told this on the podcast. Lisa's dad, great man, great farmer, right? He said to Lisa one year, either for his birthday or Father's Day or Christmas, something that warranted him, he sort of knew he'd be getting a few bits, and he was like, if you don't mind, one of my welly boots is letting in. He had big fucking, like, you know, the camo green welly boots up to the knees, good quality ones, and he's like, one of them's letting in, you know, fuck's sake, and he could do with a new pair. So Lisa was like, no bother, and got him it was like the dark brown pair. She's like, there you go. And he basically used one of the new wellies in conjunction with the old one. So he's walking about, like, not that it matters that he's wearing different colour wellies, but I'm just like, just use the new pair, man. No, it's such an old man thing to go, I'll get the wear out of these shoes, literally. I'll wear the one that's working. The other one's there. So he bins one and then uses one of the new ones. But what happens then, say like the newest brown one, what happens if it's letting in? Technically, Lisa gets him another pair. You've got 3 extra. It's going, I bought 17 socks instead of 16 because it's better value for money. I have got a spare one, but sure, if the big man's looking a fucking cheeky wank, you're Strictly Come Dancing. My cum will be dancing. My cum will be doing the tango. Do you ever see a cum do the fucking Zumba? Kumba. Ah, my lord, kumbaya. So yeah, so the bathroom ceiling's pissing water. The floor, the water's coming up from the floor, and I'm like, is this the Shining? Is this the Belfast version of the fucking Shining? Like when the lift's open and all that fucking big river of blood comes out, and I'm just going here. Plus, I was freaking out too, man, because I was like, is this all water from the bathroom region? Because, you know, people do shits, man. I don't know if you're aware of it. Like, I thought it was just me for years. So I had worried, saying to my parents, do you know every like lock of days, just all this cake comes out of my fucking arm? Is this and they're like, no, it's a human thing. Humans do that. And I'm like, thank God, I thought it was just me, because I'd be well embarrassed. Imagine we were the only person in the world that ever took a shit. Imagine that was just like a really rare disease. Yes, particularly in the future, they'll probably come up with some pill where you don't have to do it anymore. It just you sweat it out or something. Even though you still do that now when you're hungover enough. Imagine being the only person just being like, I can't stomach the tablets, so I just do it the old-fashioned way. Like in Demolition Man, the free seashells. Just going, you still fucking just sit on a ceramic bowl and just empty your fucking pastrami passageway and then just, essentially get this thing that just puts water on it. You know what I mean? Ugh, old school as fuck. Do you remember shiting? Dazzy, do you remember back in the day you could just do a shite and not be the subject of ridicule? Do you remember that? Old school as fuck. Love a good old shite. Me, Jesus Christ. Oh, the weight I lost. So there's water pissing from everywhere, man. I'm like, oh, is this the Shining? Is the flat fighting back? You know what I mean? The flat's got a mind of its own. I'm going to flood these hers out. Are we haunted? Is there a ghost? Go and get these fucking hers out. And maybe, the flat's just sick of me sitting in here doing with fucking WoodsTalk episodes. Just going, I can't fucking listen to him chat anymore. You know what I mean? Fuck knows. So that was, dare I say, a fucking shit situation. It actually got to the point where it affected rooms it hadn't done before because all the floorboards and skirting boards were all like swelling up. So none of our bedroom doors can really close properly at the minute. You can close them, but there's obviously been a bit of swelling, so it's like so it doesn't close the whole way. And even as a 30-year-old man, I can't go to bed with the door open, man. Just can't do it. What if a creepy person breaks in and I'm all vulnerable in my wee sleeping position? Because Woodsy usually lies on the old belly. That's the one advantage of having a wee tiny peen, man. You can lie on the belly, no sweat. No sweat. You got a big old fucking schlong on you. You can lie on your belly high, but what happens if you get a wee chub in the middle of the night and you're sort of propelling yourself and you're like, is this the Matrix? Is it like a circus tent in here now? You can fucking put some jugglers in there. Juggle my bag. Aye, so apartment flooded. Long story short, that was fucking, what a nightmare. Like, it's only really today, which is what day is it? Wednesday the 2nd of September. What is it? 2nd today? Is it? 2nd of September. Today was freaky enough as it is. We've still got some sort of resolution where we're going to get basically new everything. You know what I mean? I said we should burn the contract, burn the flat down and just, cut our ties. But legally, that's not the way to go about your business, guys. So if you thought you had a shit week last week, Jesus Christ, man. Fucking, at least you didn't fucking, need to put chlorine in your fucking hallway. I the amount of verrucas I got. So hopefully it gets sorted. But I tell you what, I've never been as angry. You know what I mean? Just at the, it's like the amount of times we just kind of we explained the situation, and there didn't seem to be a real sense of urgency about the whole thing. And I kind of give people the benefit of the doubt again because I'm far too dead on for my own good. But I was kind of stipulating, why doesn't someone come out and have a look? Like the emergency plumber wasn't associated with our landlord directly. They only just relayed the information. But I was like, why don't you come out, take a few fucking videos, photos and stuff, so you know that we're not being OTT. That's the worst thing about it, is that until someone came out, which was today, we probably just came across it like real fucking like mill bags about it, like it's just like claims a claim, fucking claim Neeson here. So yeah, so hopefully that does get resolved. It'll make me and Lisa enjoy the Galgorm trip a lot more. You know what I mean? Just being able to walk a meter without, putting on a fucking wetsuit. You know what I mean? Those Speedos came in handy. Hey? Big man's doing the backstroke just to go for a shite. Jesus, Teddy fucking Christ on a bike. These things are sent to try, I suppose. But it's I'm just really weird that I get very angry and very dead on at the same time. You know what I mean? Where I was like, between like me ranting and then being on the phone, it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Nobody gives a fuck about us. We're fucking here a couple of years paying rent without fucking exception. Well, rent, we've never missed the rent. Anytime we like as I was saying, the times that they were like, can you be here? Like the amount of times I had to like schedule, people to come out to look at our flat, whether it was to give us like we need a new oven or a new fan or shit like that, or even just to service a fucking electric meter. I had to like to give up my lunch hour at work stand her down. Let these cunts in and just stand her down.
Is the electric alright? Because it seems to be working alright. Because last night I made a cup of coffee and see that kettle runs on electricity, and the fridge does as well, and so does the TV, and so does the PlayStation, and so does my Chromecast, and so does my internet. I got Sky internet there, so I think electric's working alright. They keep busy doing all this. Do you see a lot of like electric shocks and all? Is it like a smaller version of a thunderstorm, or you see the lightning come in there? And they say lightning never strikes twice, but have you ever seen someone get electric shock twice in a row? What's it like? Oh, it's fucking working the electricity. I mean, you must have boundless energy, because you must get the odd shock yourself. It must be like taking speed, but fucking cheaper.
Going mad. I think may have lost it. May have lost it, people. But again, this is what the Wu-Tang Clan are about. This is why we have clan meetings, to vent, people. We need to vent. We need to be Darren Vent, Christian Venteke, David Ventley, Nabil Ventaleb, Susie Vent. You know what I mean? You're all Susie Dent. By the way, did I read? That's the countdown dictionary corner. You know what I mean? Loves a bit of vocab. You know what I mean? Just say a big fucking high Scrabble score word there, and she's frothing at the old fucking Gwen Stefani. Tell you that. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Rim me. It's easy. I'll leave a dent. No bother. Fucking. Yeah. I definitely read something that she is like a consultant or some shit for. Is it the Amazon Alexa thing? Apparently is getting some Northern Irish vernacular in it. And if you give me a second to fucking Google that shit, Susie, let me see, I'll just do Northern Ireland. Look at me typing like a fucking old fella. Northern Ireland Alexa. I'm pretty sure she's got some sort. She's like a consultant. Some shit. Yeah, so Amazon's Alexa, which apparently, like everything, just listens to all the stuff you say. Amazon's Alexa is now learning Northern Irish dialect with the help of countdowns. Susie Dent. Let me see. Let's see. Understanding exactly what people are saying from different UK towns and cities is something we all have trouble with from time to time. Fuck, not wrong when you live here, anyway. Like the amount of accents and varying slang is legitimately ridiculous from here. Like, I don't know if anybody else says it. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, if you, like, particularly this week, the weather was shite. It was pissing down. You know what I mean? It was also pissing down in my flat, so it didn't really affect me too much this week. Like, no matter where I went, it was like Jumanji, basically. You know what I mean? Welcome to the jungle. We've got fucking water. You know what I mean? Kind of soil of water to Ballygowan. What was I going to say? But when the weather's really bad in Strabane, it's not so much anymore, but I remember hearing this when I was growing up. You would hear my parents going, if it was like really windy or really rainy, or a combination of the two, they would go, the weather's cat. C-A-T. Oh, the weather's cat. I think that's obviously a short way of saying like it's raining cat and dogs. So they just go, oh yeah, weather's cat. Don't know if that's a thing up here, but anyway. Even technology products like Amazon's Alexa can struggle to interpret the diverse colloquial phrases people use. That must be like number one on that list, man. In fact, according to research conducted by Amazon on 2,000 UK residents, 34% of people struggle to understand local dialects different to their own, with more than half of people, 52%, admitting to nodding if they don't understand regional words. A fifth of people, 18%, feel too embarrassed to speak up when they do not understand regional phrases and words. And generationally, 30% of younger people say they find it difficult to understand some of the things their grandparents say, while 37% of grandparents admit to being confused by language quirks used by their grandchildren. That's always going to be a thing, though. Let's face it, like, slang develops, and what we're into, you know, with this vastly different level of technological advancements, of course, you know, like I still don't really, you know, like no, I never knew was a phrase. Again, apologies if this is outside, if this isn't applicable to anybody that's not from, like, if it's not a Strabane thing, I don't know what the fuck. I never knew the phrase, honestly, till about a couple of years ago. What was it? It was something like, when I did the Mandela, it was like one of my bigger shows in Belfast, and my dad texted me the day after going, how'd it go? And I was like, really enjoyed it and I think it went well. And he texted back, wee buns. Man, I didn't even know what that meant. I was just like, wait, is that a comment on my posterior, Patrick? Post-stroke Pat? You know what I mean? Is that a comment on my wee boot? My wee booty? Bootylicious? Woodylicious? Fuck's sake. And he was like, no, it's just like wee buns, D. Like, it was easy. And I go, what have small treacle tarts got to do with this? Wee buns? Wee buns? What? Again, if someone knows what that means, again, it's shit. But thankfully, Countdown wordsmith Susie Dentist teamed up with Amazon to add hundreds of alternative local words and regional phrases to Amazon's AI voice assistant for the Alexa language project. Words and phrases being added that have been added so far include how do. Is that like pure? Is that like Yorkshire sort of vibe? How do. Pints of pizza. How do. I think it always sounds like Mel B and Bo Selecta. How do. Got funny up brain. Got funny. Show me a funny. How do. If someone came over to here, how do what? How do what? Ventriloquism, pottery, carpentry. How do you fucking sleep at night? Fucking pedo cunt. Word and phrase being out. How do for hello. Ta-ra. Isn't that very ta-ra? Is that very a Scouse thing? Buns, baps, and moggy cake for bread roll. So there's the buns thing coming back. Wee buns, baps, moggy cake for a bread roll. So like, can I get soup and a moggy cake? Get his fucking carrot and coriander soup, and get a fucking moggy cake as well, would you? You want a cake with your soup? That's the starter and dessert in one thing. You fusion bastard. The fuck's that about? Rosie Lee for teeth. That's obviously Cockney Raymond slang. Let's see. When it comes to Northern Ireland dialect, Alexa is certainly being schooled. Good luck to it. Hello, because Alexa's very sort of like the your balance is low. That sort of vibe, isn't it? So like, up the Mona bypass. Yes. Chucky Allah. Come out, you black and tans. What a fucking hellion. She only wears cacks to keep her ankles warm. So to trigger the regional dialect, Alexa has learned in Northern Ireland, just ask, Alexa, what are the regional words for? Here are the Northern Irish examples, people. Let's get stuck in it. Alexa, what are some regional compliments? Dead on. They've got a dead on. Dead on. Dead on. How's things? Dead on. How'd you get on in the hospital? Dead on. How'd you get on with the labour? Dead on. Is it benign? Dead on. Mate, I just fucking bucked in your wheelie bin. Dead on. Alexa, what are regional words for angry? Raging. Steaming. That's wrong. Steaming's for drunk. Steaming Nolan. I pioneered that fucking phrase. Steaming Nolan. Raging, I get. Rage, like I'm fucking raging. Was it? Raging would still be the big one, dare I say it? Fuming's come back. Ripping's a big one. Fucking ripping. Why? Fucking Alexa keeps saying dead on. Regional words for snack time. 11s. We don't say that here. 11s. Unless it's like the wee guys who go, you love your McDonald's for 11s, don't you? So it is. Or ISIS, I don't know how you say it. See, for 11s, I'm just going to get my McDonald's because the Americans love the McDonald's, and to be honest, I love the McDonald's as well, mate. So it is. Alexa, what are reasonable words for children? Wains, fair enough. Offspring, you know, the child. Even though I have to go see the child. The child. What's it got? Fucking 666 tattooed in his fucking forehead, is it? It wouldn't even be numbers, probably. DUP. Alexa, what are reasonable words for bread roll? Baps. Well, baps is also applicable to the breasticles, the old tats. You know what I mean? The fucking cans, the milkers, the saggers, the fucking jugs. Alexa, what are reasonable words for a cup of tea? Char or cuppa? I don't know what anybody else says. I say brew, man. I know that's a very Bolton, Peter Cash thing to say, but I'm like, brew. Get the brew on, mate. Or I know my younger sister Hannah will always say the tea. Stick on the tea. You look in the tea. Get the fucking tea. Alexa, what are the reasonable words for woodlice? Slaters. Oh, it was nets, man. They're putting on the nets. Coming on the nets. Net wank. Alexa, what are reasonable words for gross? It's so dirty. Boggin, that's fair enough. Boggin, stinking, hoachin. Boggin, stinking, hoachin. Richie Remo. That was definitely the original sort of Richie Remo. Like, boggin, stinking, hoachin. Fingering. Alexa, what are reasonable words for a long time? Donkeys. So, I haven't seen them in donkeys. You know what I mean? Ages, probably the best one though. Don't know. So that's Woodsy dishing out some fucking news. Let me see. What would be good for Alexa to say? I mean, like, there's some cool. You see, I suppose like there's a lot of slang here, and then there's a lot of sort of head tilts, really, isn't there? Do you know where he is? You know what I mean? You can just nod. What's crack? It's crack. It's crack. You know what I mean? It's very sort of, for you visual people, you'll enjoy that. Anybody listening to this going, what the fuck is it? Rory just have a sort of mini stroke there? I don't know. Runs in the family. So yeah, apartment flooded, but at least Alexa's going to sound like fucking, you know, a cast member and give my headpiece quite soon. So Alexa is going to be basically used for Nolan Live now. You know what I mean? Fucking a pussy, sure it is. Loyalist. Peace wall. Peace wall. So yeah, that's the thing that happened, people. You know, we have an Northern Irish Alexa, which is good. The Echo Dot, you know, Alexa. You know what I mean? As in, Lisa's mum's got the Alexa thing, but she never says Alexa. So she's like, play Ed Sheeran. Alexa, play Ed Sheeran, and then it plays. And you're like, if you had said that earlier, you'd be spot on by. Here's the thing. So a bit of a weird week, people. I'm not lady. Fucking Bozeman went. My apartment flooded. You know, but we managed to turn it around. You know, that's what adults do. You know, you sort of have to accept that sometimes things are beyond your control, and it's not always ideal. That's the thing, you know, particularly when you're renting. You know, you have to sort of rely on a lot of other people to get on the ball, and it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There's a lot of middlemen. They're like, well, this person has to speak to this person to get permission. You know, but to be fair, I mean, I was going, well, if this happened in a property that I owned, you know, that I was paying a mortgage for, I'd probably still be raging, but at least it would probably fix quicker, because I would just ring some her and be like, get out the next couple of hours, here's how much you're getting, you know what I mean, fire you a bit extra if you can get here early in the morning, you know, but then I'd be raging at the amount of money I had to fork out, you know, on a whim. So I suppose these things are sent to try us, and you know, the people that get annoyed about them happening, you know what I mean, they have to accept it. You know, shit like that always will. Don't ever get too comfortable, or get comfortable because you've got shit put away for a rainy day. You know, that's what all my mates are saying, because when I get driving, anybody I know who's got a car was like, always have a couple £100 sitting in a savings account just in case something goes wrong. And that should be the case for everything, you know. Get comfortable, but always have that fucking nest egg there in case something happens, because before you know it, your washing machine just fucking explodes, the roof comes off with the wind, someone just spin kicks your fucking wing mirror off, you know, someone disables your extractor fan in your bathroom from outside and then leaves it, so you don't even know who's done it. You don't even know it was a thief, but he knows the crack. So he does. Oh, aye. So, the people that sort of get mad about that, I mean, like, I understand initially get mad, but at the same time, it's not about trying to get these things, to avoid them, because you ultimately can't. You can do stuff, to maybe anticipate them. You can do stuff to sometimes avoid them. Yeah, I will say maybe I'll backtrack on that. You can avoid them, but not everything. There'll always be some thing that's going to kick you in the ballocks, and if you can anticipate it, you can alleviate the pain quite quickly. I have some quid in the bank for emergencies. But the people that say they're like, oh, I'm going to make sure nothing goes wrong, well, then it probably will. But again, it's not about stuff going wrong. It's about how you deal with it. You get knocked down, but you get back up again. You're never going to keep me down. You get knocked down, you get back up again. I should write a song about that. But these things, yeah, sound to try us, man. It's all about fucking just, if you stand for nothing, what do you fall for? Fucking Iron Bear from Hamilton. So again, mainly we managed to turn it around. We managed to get some sort of clarity that after the bank holiday there'll be people out looking at the flat, and I was like, look, let's just fucking make the best of it. So what we did do was on Friday we treated ourselves to a big Indian. You know what I mean? Because thankfully, neither myself or Lisa are really the comfort drinkers. You get people that are like, if they have a stressful day, they always seem to go, oh, I'd love to, I know, I'm just going to get a big carry out and fucking, you know what I mean, just wash it and like just drink a fucking deck of harpin and have a bottle of whiskey. That's not really my vibe. Not slagging, but I sort of be thankful that I'm a comfort eater. If I get stressed or if I've had a bad lock of days, it just means the diet's going to be broke. Not the end of the world. I mean, at least I got a massive Indian, got the boonies in, got the fucking patties, got the fucking naan breads, sagaloo, which is a must have in your Indian takeaway. If you aren't getting sagaloo, why fucking bother? Why bother? I used to get a chicken sag, which is heavy on the spinach, because sag is Indian for spinach. I used to get sagaloo as well. You know what I mean? Popeye. Got ourselves a big Indian, and again, we just I got a few beers in. I got a lot of these fucking brew dogs in, man. Watched the Spurs game on Saturday. Paid for it. The first time I've paid for a football match in donkeys. Paid for it via the Spurs website because it's a friendly, and it was the shittest game of all time. And I was like, fucking typical. But again, after my flat flooding, really, all I needed was somebody to just repeatedly kick me in the face for me to really get pissed off. So I had I had a few brew dogs and got some of that Guinness West Indies Porter, which is very decent for any of you stout fans out there. Stouts out. Watched Spurs, got back into like playing a wee bit of the Batman game, Batman Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. Then on Sunday, what do we do? I made like ribs and shit, like a barbecue day on Sunday, and again, just took. Did I do something on Sunday? Probably did a few things, but it doesn't really matter. Then on Monday, Monday was a good day. It was obviously the bank holiday that I don't like, but obviously was at this time was happy to have the fucking time off work. Bank holiday Monday, went for a wee run, back into the running again, and I was happy to get back and do the wee run. Did a wee half hour. Did I listen to the Hamilton soundtrack? Yes, I fucking did. And that and White Zombie. Just weird. And then the other reason that I really did it was I wanted to be there because my wife Lisa is also now a Couch to 5K graduate. Congrats to my wifey Lisa. It was her idea in the first place to do Couch to 5K. I tagged along. Then between her shoes giving up on her and then her knee giving her a bit of jip, it's taken her a bit longer to finish, and she did it on Monday. She did the Couch to 5K, so congrats to her. We got a big feed. Actually, we went to Maiden Belfast for this whole eat out to help out thing. I went to Maiden Belfast. Lovely feed, have to say. She got the spiced sweet potato soup. The big man got like prawns and crab on sourdough. We like fucking good, like confit tomatoes and all that. Fucking very, very decent, I have to say. Big man got fish and chips, and Lisa got the pork belly and croquettes and all that jazz. Man, what a feed, hey? So we turned. What a weird week, people. I can't lie to you. Just fucking you're flat flooding, and it just really it's weird in terms of your mental health. In terms of, you could have the nicest gaff in the world, and our flat is great. Don't get me wrong, I love our flat. There's things going wrong, but it's wear and tear. But we've got it looking pretty fucking sweet. Our landlords, to be fair, to their credit, have been quite sort of obliging in terms of letting us decorate it the way we wanted to, really. So it was class. But I think whether you live in a flat that you rent or in a mansion that you own, when parts of it are flooded and have been damaged, it looks like the biggest dump in the world. It doesn't matter. It just really sort of dampens your whole perception, and that's not a nice vibe when it's where you live. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, not living somewhere that it's not a matter of being house proud, because these things take time, but not being comfy where you live, particularly during COVID where you've been on lockdown. I wouldn't wish that on peeps, man, because that's tough going. Honestly, I was ready to go here. Can we just fucking get out of here and just say, look, give us to the end of the month and we'll be out of there, and it gives them time, all the time in the world, really, to get any work that they want to get done, and we can go somewhere that isn't flooded. So it was fucking weird. I was sleeping really, really bad and all that shit because I was worrying about it, and sometimes I feel is it not that it's never been said, I know Lisa doesn't feel this way, but for some reason I feel stuff like that's my fault, you know what I mean, in terms of living situation, even though we pay for everything literally split down the middle. If it's, I don't know if it's an old school thing where I'm well, I'm the man, and it's it should be, and the fact that it wasn't sorted quickly I sort of felt really bad about. So my sleeping always, because my sleep was fucked because I was worried, you know what I mean. So one thing I did do, I'm going to start taking that CBD. If anybody who listens to this takes the old CBD for the sleep and for the general day-to-day, go and give us a wee shout. I ordered some from Flow CBD, who are the sponsors of the General Banter podcast at the moment. I've ordered some of that. It hasn't arrived yet, so I'm going to start taking that. If anybody's got any tips, or I've always avoided doing it, not out of any sort of misplaced sense of self-righteousness or anything, but just I always worry about stuff like that I'd like it to work, but I don't want to become reliant on it. I don't want to get that feeling where you're if I don't take this, I won't sleep. Do you know what I mean? That's why people go oh, why don't you take some sleeping pills? And I'm but if you become reliant on that shit, you know what I mean? Your whole life's dictated by it. So I have ordered some. It's just the wee fucking squirty battle. A wee bottle of fucking Kiora or some shit. So if anybody's got any advice on that, that would be much appreciated. Send us a wee DM do it on the Insta, the Facebook. I don't know. I still have my page on Facebook, man, but the response I get, the stuff I put on Instagram is I think the last Extra Branch promo clip I did with I put up for Vittorio. The views I got on Instagram compared to Facebook is fucking mad. So I don't know, I'll still have a Facebook page, but if you want to reach me, get on the Insta, even the Twitter. I would take fucking quicker than, or sign up to the Patreon and you get a direct line to myself. And I'm quite good at keeping in touch with people. I do feel the patrons would feel that way. Yeah, so fucking weird, in terms of being in a place where you don't want to be. Not the case now. We're sort of alleviated, and things are getting slowly but surely back to normal. I think whatever way we're going to work, thing that we've basically had the landlord come out today, and he was like, look, if we're going to get some work done, we might as well see what else we can get done. So we sort of spoke about a few other things that could do a bit of a sprucing up, a bit of a tweak. So it looks like a lot of that work's going to be done when we're away for the first wedding anniversary. So that'll be nice. We're out of people's hair and stuff. But a weird week, people. Is I didn't think something like that would annoy me as much as it fucking did. Fine now. Say I'm a comfort eater. So between Indian, got a few wee nice craft beers. Saturday we did a homemade barbecue, R.I.P. barbecue. We did mac and cheese and ribs and wings and stuff like that there, and just took the chill. We watched Underworld, rewatched it. All the Underworld films are on Amazon Prime at the minute, and I was fucking keen, because I was I'd rewatched the Blade trilogy, and I was this is good shit. Vampires and werewolves, fuck me, is it boring? But 15 minutes in, I was how do you fuck this up? How do you make a film about vampires and werewolves fighting each other and make it so fucking boring. I do not know. Did we watch anything else new? We watched I watched Chronicle, Josh Trank's Chronicle, decent wee film. I enjoyed that. Hey? If you want to check that out, I know The Boys season 2 is out this week, so we're getting stuck into that. Did I watch anything else? Not really. Again, we sort of just ate and took the chill and just took a bit of time to kind of like recharge the batteries and like mentally, because like the both of us were not being angry is knackering. Being angry is fucking knackering. Like, you know, that I consider myself quite an angry dude sometimes, but it is fucking tiring. You're like, gee, is it really worth it? Do you know what I mean? Hopefully the CBD helps anyway. Yeah, so luckily we turned things around. Nice bit of grub. You know, that's what it's all about, is not losing the bat when it happens, but how you deal with it. Get on the phone, get shit fixed. Might not be straight away, but at least you've got the ball rolling, and then get yourself a nice wee feed. You know, maybe start learning how to get cozy in the fucking evenings. You know, don't do what Woodsy does and just sit in the jeans. Get some fucking nice wee silk long johns. You know what I mean? Get yourself looking well. You know, I should look into that. I like being cozy. Lisa's a fucking expert at being cozy. Like, honestly, there's something about, like, even just like, I start work earlier than Lisa, so like I'll get her up during the week, and just every time she just looks so. I'm just like, I sleep in that same bed. We have the same blanket, and somehow she makes it look like paradise. Don't know. I'm just going like, she's got this wee technique when she's lying. She has to make sure that if she usually lies on her side, that the ear that's up away at the opposite side of the pillow, it also has to be covered. You know what I mean? Nice wee bit of technique there. Yeah, she's good at getting cozy. Maybe that's the thing. I just need to have a bit more Rory time. You know, selfishly. You know, maybe just be a bit more cunty, and, you know, take more baths. Do you know what I mean? So basically, shout at someone who's being rude in Tesco, and then get them bath bombs on the go. You know, all the flavors. You know, get the lentil bath bombs. Get the curry cheese bath bombs. You know, I don't want to get too fucking mad at the stage. You know, get too angry, get too down on myself. You know, because I could have. You know, and I'm glad I'm a comfort eater with still a bit of taste from, like, made in Belfast. Get an Indian in. You know, go to the butcher, get some ribs, get some proper wings and stuff. I don't want to be the sort of person that gets something that I seen about 2 days ago in Iceland. Fucking, there's like a chippy range in Iceland now. There's like battered sausage suppers, black pudding fritters, pork nuggets, but again, they're in batter. Everything's in batter. There's batter burgers, which are fucking minging even from a chippy. Battered chicken burgers, battered beef burgers. Have some respect. That, how bad does your beef need to be? We're like, a bit of batter wouldn't fucking do any harm to that, you know. Like, I know it's because and it's all frozen. Sir, if I can get, like, I'm not giving advice to anybody who listens to this, but if I had to, don't be the type that gets the chippy range from Iceland. You're better than that. You know what I mean? Get an actual chippy. You know, get the Gino de Campo Italian range. Get a fucking tiramisu, some cannelloni, and fucking my mama's lasagna. And, you know, just have more respect for yourself. Even in a flooded flat, you can find solace in a fucking half decent feed. You know what I mean? So yeah, weird week, people, and I'm going to love yous and leave yous as I always do. And it's been nice. You know, I've done a lot of podcasts this week. Who's this week? Mark McKiarney and Omar Benassine, aka Run Derf Music, who provides the music to this podcast. So got all that done. Then I got this podcast. Then I'm also going to be on the Buckshot live game show. The Tom the Bear O'Mahony, previous WoodsTalk guest, hosts. I don't really know how it works, but it's live on Facebook at like 8 o'clock tomorrow. Get on that if you're listening to this publicly. I don't know what to do. It'll probably be on YouTube or some shit. So what I'm up to, probably I'm going to be in Strabane this weekend, seeing some peeps, which would be nice. No, my nephew's wee birthday was last weekend, and then obviously I couldn't get seeing him because of this whole flooding debacle. So I'll go down and do that and fucking see all the pipes. And yeah, you know, at least the fucking leak stopped. You know what I mean? That, you know, just so weird. Like until they started taking us seriously, I almost felt like, you know, they were fobbing us off in a way that they were going, well, has the leak stopped? And I'm like, yeah, no, the leak has stopped. No, there's no more water flooding into the apartment. You know, because the leak stopped and we've got a mop bucket. You know what I mean? Shit with a fucking kitchen roll. Newspapers, you know what I mean? Anderson Town News, God bless you. But, you know, it doesn't equate for the damage that has been left as a result of the leak. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we don't have to fucking get a snorkel just to go for a fucking shite, but, you know, there's still been damage as a result of it. You know what I mean? That's like going, well, has the fire stopped? I'm like, oh, well, the fire has stopped. Yeah, but, you know, the ceiling's away and it's Kyle now. Well, it wasn't Kyle when there was a fire. You see, you can't have it both ways. You're shivering now, but 10 minutes ago when the place was fully on fire, you could have sat there, you know, in your cozy clothes, which you should be investing in, and get a lock of marshmallows and make s'mores. And I'm like, could you be s'more of a cunt? Could you? Thanks for listening, people. We're here every week with a WoodsTalk solo episode. If you would like early access to the solo episodes, which will get better looking, by the way, in that I will get a backdrop, I'll get a better camera, I'll get liposuction, I'll start doing sunbeds. You know what I mean? You know, if you would like early access, sign up to the Patreon, become a Woods Talker, £5 a month. I don't think that's too much for 2 extra podcasts. Merch will be rolling out in the next lack of months, obviously being delayed because of the flooding thing, which I think I mentioned, you know. It was like fucking a disaster movie, without the movie. But yeah, so merch is going to be rolling out soon. You've all seen the new logo, very lovely logo that my sister of Woods designed, and you know, some merch is rolling out. Got some really cool ideas in that respect. You sign up to the Patreon, you're getting first dibs on that shit. Early access to the solo pod, exclusive access to the Extra Branch video podcast. The audio will go public about a week later, but as good as they are, you know, I always feel with the Extra Branch, even though it's just done over Zoom, there's something about having a guest. You know, everybody's been like telling their stories. There's more physical, there's more faces, and it's just you engage a bit more with the video. And the video is exclusive to the Patreon people. So if you want to get access to them, or now, when Patty is episode 14. You know what I mean? 14 episodes of the Extra Branch, and they're all going very well. My stand-up show, Willylicious, is there. Get on the Patreon, people. Tell all your mates. I think it's worth it. If you don't think it's worth it, and can give me a legitimate reason why it would need to be cheaper, you know, go for it. But I really feel, for what it is, a £5 a month, I don't really feel that's fucking driving the nail in. That's less of a price of a fucking pigeon burrito now. So, you know what I mean? Onwards and upwards, people. My flat's not flooded anymore, and yeah, you know what I mean? I can walk comfortably around my own flat now. And say I take a lot of CBD hopefully the next few days. I'll let you know how that goes. But I do actually have one question that I need to address. This was given in last week on the Patreon, and I had already recorded the podcast by the time I'd seen it. So bear with us a wee second, and then I will get this motherfucker. Any questions? This was from, if you would load, you hurry. Brian McAllister on the old Patreon. What's happening, Brian? Hope things are good, my man. Did you ever buy an album back in the day when they used to cost like 20 quid? Bring it home, and no matter how hard you tried to listen to it, thought it was absolute shite. So did I buy something, and even though it was shite, try my best to salvage it, and didn't really get it. I do miss buying albums. Like I buy vinyl now, but I miss the days of buying CDs. Particularly, like I would have to go to Derry or a place called Cheeky's in Strabane, because I was listening when I first started buying CDs. It was like new metal and pop punk and stuff. The first album I ever bought was All Killer No Filler by Sum 41. Then the second album, which I do like, you know what I mean, but it's not the coolest album to say that is in your top 5 in terms of first buys, was Anthology by Alien Ant Farm. So that was the record that had the Smooth Criminal cover in movies and Attitude and stuff like that. It's a fucking belter album. But was there ever an album that I bought? Let me think. I remember I went to Asda and in Strabane one time. I was working on the bingo, went after my work during the week, and I bought, even though there's a few decent moments on the record, but overall I just can't really get into it, is the Slipknot's record All Hope Is Gone. Like, it had some strong singles, don't get me wrong, but overall it just didn't sit particularly well with me. It's any other album I have bought, any bands that I've slagged on here, I actually have always given a chance every couple of years, because obviously the same way that your palate changes and you're like, I like fucking Green Beans now, it changes with your music, I suppose. Like, I was never an Arctic Monkeys guy, and then kind of got into them. But I remember buying OK Computer by Radiohead, and I tried. Everybody loves Radiohead. Still don't like Radiohead. Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses, I remember buying back in the day, and I still can't really get into it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's very frustrating, particularly when it's a band that's universally kind of, or mostly loved, and you're like, I should like this, because I like a lot of bands similar to Guns N' Roses and Radiohead, and I just, with them, just couldn't get stuck into it, unfortunately. So that's the way that is. Cheers, Brian. I'm saying sorry I didn't get around to that last week, but my timing was bad, unfortunately, in that respect. Thanks for listening, people. As always, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. One love. Enjoy whatever you watch, enjoy whatever you listen to, i.e. this. Eat some good grub, man. Get to sleep and just live your life. It's September, and before you know it, it'll be Paddy's Day. It's fucking mad. Before you know it, we'll have Halloween and people will be dressing up as coronavirus. Probably just scaring the shit out of people. Just dressed up as a fucking giant bottle of Corona with a bat hanging from it. Do you know what I mean? Just a big cup of soup with a fucking bat hanging off it. God bless everybody. Take it easy.